Hi everybody. What I've been asked to do is just go through the arrival procedure and the setup procedure when arriving on site. This is for a couple of people I know who are hiring motorhomes in August and have never been on a site or motorhomes in their lives before. So, start from the beginning. Obviously, when you arrive at site, the first thing you need to do is just park up, and it's clearly indicated for new arrivals where you'll park up, and then go into main reception. In main reception, they'll just give you the health and safety sort of advice. They'll take any monies off you that you owe for your stay for the duration there, and they'll also give you a site map. Now, depending on what site you're on, would depend on what pitch you're going to go onto. So, if you're on a camping and caravan site, what they do is they take you to the pitch that they've allocated for you. If you're on a camping and motorhome site, what they allow you to do is go through, pick your own pitch, and once you set up, go back to main reception and let them know where you are, so they can then tick that pitch off as being occupied. And again, if you're with a Morris and leisure site, which we're on here, they can be affiliated to a camping and caravan site and a camping and motorhome site, as this one is that we're on. And they actually dictated to us what pitch we were going to be on because we're on a service pitch. But on some of them, they will again let you go through and pick your own pitch. So you've done that now, you've gone back into the motorhome. Because you are in a motorhome, the first thing you need to do if you're not on a service pitch, and by service pitch, which I'll show you later, it means all the facilities that you need are there. Your grey waste, electricity, and you have a water tap. If you haven't got a service pitch, you'll need to go to the motorhome point and fill up with fresh water. So make sure that you've got a good hose, there's no leaks, you've tried it out, and you've shown how to use it and how you check the indicator levels to make sure that you've got a full water tank. My van, for example, takes 90 litres, and inside the van we've got a view levels button which tells us when that's full. Obviously the other clear indication is that when it's full, the water starts coming out of the hole that you're putting it into. So once you've done that, you can then go down onto the pitch that you've been allocated or that you've chosen to go to. And what we'll go through now is the setup procedures that we carry out when we get there. Again, this is what we do. Other people may vary and do them slightly differently, but this is what worked for us. And as I say, we are now on a service pitch, so all the facilities we need are here. We don't have to unhook at any stage to go and empty grey waste or actually fill up with fresh water. And there are shortcuts to doing that if you're not on a service pitch, and some of the little helpful hints that we've been given over the years I'll just explain to you as I go around the van and tell you basically what we're doing. Okay, so you filled your motorhome up with water and you've arrived onto your pitch. Let's say we're on a service pitch, we have all the facilities we need here, some won't, and we'll go through both. But the first thing you do when you come onto your pitch and set anything up is ensure that you're straight on the pitch. And with the site we're on now, Morris Leisure, and it is affiliated to the Camping and Motorhome Club, they have a real strict rule that when you reverse on, you actually reverse up to the white peg on the driver's side of the vehicle and that you're straight. So you can see the white peg down there, and you just need to be level with that. Again, what you need to check is that your van is level before you start actually setting anything up, because once you start plugging your electrics in and your waste, etc, etc, you don't want to be moving the van. So simple tip, one of these little spirit levels, put it on the step of the vehicle, and if you're not straight, again, if you're hiring a vehicle, make sure they give you a set of chocks, and this just allow you to go up or down, and obviously if you're tilting left to right, you just leave one of the chocks off, and that will just enable you to ensure that you're straight. There's nothing worse if you're not level and you'll stand on the pitch for more than a few days. So once you've done that, then the first thing I generally do then is plug into the electric. So again, if you're hiring a vehicle, once you've got it, make sure that you have a electrical lead as we've got here. Make sure it's long enough, have a check on it, make sure that it's not damaged and the orange lead is not frayed in any way, shape or form, and the two connecting ends, the blue ends, have no faults with those. Now when you plug it in, please ensure that you put the end into the vehicle first. If you connect up to the electrics and then try and connect to the vehicle, you're actually carrying a live socket, okay, and that can be dangerous. So this end goes in first and then plug it into the actual electric point itself. So we'll go and have a look at that. So again, here is the electrical point. As I said, because we're on a service pitch, we have a place for the electrics. You can see that we've got our own water tap, and we've also here got a connection for the coax for the TV aerial. Yeah, we have got a TV aerial on the vehicle, but with this coax it just ensures that you get a good picture and you can use that. Now they are available at most camping and motorhome sites, but you just need to buy that coax. Again, as I said, make sure you plug this end in first. If you do overload the system, it has got a trip here, so if your electrics do go off because you've got too much on, just come and check that that actually hasn't flicked off. And again, with your cable, like any electrical cable or extension, make sure it's fully unwound and not coiled up, because it'll get hot and then that can be quite dangerous. So the next thing I'm going to do is fill up with water. So clearly I'm going to get my hose, fill it up to that, or connect it up to that tap there, and I'm going to go into the motorhome, take off the cap and start to fill the vehicle up. As I said, once you're connected up to the water, bring the other end of the hose through. This simply unlocks and unscrews, and then you'll start to fill up your water until that's full. Two ways of checking that it's full. Obviously there's an indicator on the monitor in the vehicle. Obviously if the water starts to pour out, you know that it's full. Again, if you're hiring a vehicle, make sure that the hose is adequate, it's not damaged, it's actually a hose that you can use for this particular use. Yep, and it's long enough to reach from the water point, if you want a service point, to your actual pitch where your vehicle is. If you're filling up at the motorhome point, it won't really matter, because you'll just connect up there and fill up while your vehicle's only a couple of meters from the actual tap itself. So as I said before, if you're on a service pitch, the water's available, so I can fill that up at any stage. The water generally lasts about 4 to 5 days. So what I would do if I wasn't on a service pitch, I've got a simple little watering can here. Then each night, all I do is fill that up at the nearest service point. There's one generally a few yards, 50 yards from where you're parked up, depending where you're on at site. Okay, but it saves unhooking the vehicle, and just put 2 or 3 of those into your water each night, and it just keeps it topped up, therefore alleviating the problems of unhooking, taking anything down that you've got, taking the electrics out, etc, etc, and going filling up with water. Again, just a little tip that we were given when we first started motor. Right, again, because we're on a service pitch, we actually have our own grey waste drain here, and you wouldn't get that on a normal pitch. Therefore, at some point, your grey waste would be filled, and you would need to go and empty that at the motorhome point into the grid that's available there. So what we've got here is this collapse system, which all connects in together, and it all pushes and crumples up, so it's dead small and just in a little bag. And then you connect this up to your grey waste tap here. You can leave that tap on, and any dirty water from your shower or your sink will just immediately go down the grey waste tank into that pipe, and then straight down the drain, which means I haven't got at any point unconnect this to empty the grey tank, or even when we leave at the end of our sort of period on site, go to the grey waste at the motorhome point and empty it out, because sometimes that can take 10 minutes for that to actually drain properly. So this piece of kit here which we bought, it's called the collapse kit. I say it all interconnects, and then it's extendable, pushes in together, and just sits in a little grey bag in the vehicle, and it weighs absolutely nothing. So the next thing to do is turn on the gas, and generally we here, what me and Tracy do, or Tracy and I will do everything on the outside of the wagon while she's prepping stuff inside the wagon. So she's putting the TV up, etc, etc, and now she's waiting for me to put the gas on, and then she'll check it's going through properly, and that the oven and the gas is actually working. And that's a simple case here. We've got 2 bottles for when one runs out, and a simple case of opening up the valve, and the gas will go through to the cooker. You give it a couple of seconds and just check that that lights correctly. And I say always have a spare bottle. There's nothing worse than running out of gas when you're on site, and the site that you're on doesn't stock new gas bottles. So the last job you will have to do at some point is empty your toilet cassette. Now there is an indicator on the top of the toilet inside the vehicle that tells you when this needs doing. You generally find that this is a man's job and not a woman's job. So all you do is locate where the hatch is. All you simply do is clip up and pull it out, and now you can see the toilet cassette. You take this over to the Elson point, which I'll show you shortly, and when you get there you simply lift this up take the cap off and then tip it out into the housing, making sure that you push this button here. Okay, so that releases all the air inside, then everything will come out. And what I do is then give it a good wash through when you're over there. I will then slip this off as well, open it up and give that a good wash and clean in there as well before I bring it back. Once you bring it back, all you simply do is put a little bit of water in there, just about that much water in there, and then come back, and as you can see here, yep, I've got some AdBlue which is in one of the cupboards, side lockers down there. I put 75 mils of that in there, tip it into there, yep, do it back up, and what that does, it keeps it fresh and it breaks down anything that you might have in there, and that simply then goes back into the set ready to be used again. Okay, so once you're on site as well, obviously you want to get rid of your rubbish. You can see here that we have the rubbish area, and generally they recycle as well. As I mentioned before, if you need to fill up your water, we've got drinking water and waste disposal water, and the one thing I haven't took you through yet is the cleaning of your toilet cassette. And on all sites dotted around you'll find this Elson here, and this is where you'll bring your toilet cassette to clean it and flush it through before you take it back and put it back into the van. Once you've done that, now we're ready to set up the rest of the site to make it comfortable living for us for the next 4, 5, 6 days, depending on however long you're there. One of the big things or disadvantages of motorhome is transport links and being able to get from A to B when you get on site. Most of the sites we go to do have good transport links, so there's always a bus that you can get on into town or wherever. But what we always do, we hire a car. Now this car here, we've had a right result on this, not in terms of the price because it's always about the same. For 5 days this car was £118, and it was actually meant to go back today at 1 o'clock, but they've rung to say that they can't pick it up till Monday, so we can have it free of charge right up till Monday. So a little bit of a result. But again, we've got the car here. It's only £118 for 5 days, and it's just a way of us getting around without being restricted to site or actually getting on and off the buses. Particularly, we'll take you around now and have a look how we've set up. Now, this is the back of the vehicle. I've obviously I try and take my bike away wherever we go because there's always good cycling routes. This is the upgrade of mine. I've got a Boardman at home, but this is just a little treat that I treat myself to. Better gearage, better braking system. It's much lighter and a really, really nice ride. But I'll always take that away with us because there's always nice rides on most of the sites that you go to. The rest of the setup, you can see I've got the motorhome. I've got the awning out. Here is just from Pets R Us. It's just a pet pen. I've got 2 of those there which I put up. I just tie it to the side of the blow up awning there, and it just gives the dogs a little bit of running space. In addition to that, I've got my flagpole and I always put up my blue red blue, that's always flying. The awning that we got is actually designed for a caravan, and it doesn't fit onto the awning recesses that we have up there. So what we had to do, if you look closely, you can see up there, you can see the top recess, and then you can see a driveway slip that slips into there, or strip that's grey strip that goes into there, and underneath that there's a little figure of 8 plastic bar. So what you do is that grey strip slides into that recess, into the top end of the figure of 8, and then the awning itself slips into the other end of the figure 8, and now it all fits onto the system properly. And my only advice is, when you're putting this awning up, wind out the awning a little bit first, blow up the awning just slightly before you wind the awning up so it fits back into that recess, because there's just less weight on it when you're trying to wind it up, and it can, if it's too heavy, damage that awning and not slip into place properly, so just be aware of that. Okay, the other thing that I now put on is a silver screen here. Alright, twofold really. Firstly, it gives you a little bit of privacy, but also what it does do, it stops any condensation on the insides of the window, so it's well worth having. And it just slips over the front of the windscreen and into the door recesses up there. Got the Cadac there. This is an upgrade for us. We had the smaller one originally, but the small one was fine and adequate for Tracy and I, but when we had people visit, which we do quite regularly, it just wasn't big enough. Now this size is normally just over 200 quid, but we were in Winfield's camping shop, and they had this up for sale, which was the model that was out on display, for 95 quid, and it was like, okay, result, brand new, over £110 saving there. When we actually went to pay for it, it rung up at £79, so even better. And these are fantastic. You see on our van here, we have an outside barbecue point, so we haven't got to have a spare canister for it. That just works on the gas bottles on the other side, which is pumped through the vehicle to this here, and that operates simply by turning the yellow catch. That's in the off position at the moment, and then this just slides in and out of there. So again, if you're hiring a motorhome and you have got one of these, just make sure that it's functional and that it's safe. Really, that's set up for the duration of our stay. The awning's a great addition. It just gives you a little bit of more outdoor space if the weather's not too good, particularly the two boys. If the boys come back from a walk and a little bit wet and need drying off, it just gives us a space to clean them off and dry them off before they go into the vehicle. As I said, remember, this is a service pitch, so all the facilities we need here. If you're not on a service pitch, not on a normal pitch, whether it's hard standing or grass, you will need to obviously fill up with water and take your grey waste to the motorhome point when it's full up. And I say our water holds 90 litres and our grey waste holds 100 litres. Okay, so now you're all set up, you can actually sit back and you can enjoy your holiday. What I would say to you, don't get in a panic, don't get on a flap. Everybody on site is very experienced normally. They've probably gone through the problems that you've gone through, and if you've got any doubts or any concerns, just go and ask one of the motorhomes or one of the caravanners. As I say, they're always more than helpful to come and help out of any problems that you may have. Also remember, you've got the wardens. The wardens are always very experienced motorhomes and caravanners, and again, there's hardly any problems that you will have that they haven't encountered. And remember, they know all the local intel, so if you need something sorted or you need to go somewhere, they will know locally where to go and do that. So once you've set up, as I say, just sit back and enjoy your holiday.